Over the last 2 seasons, Anthony Davis was among the most consistently and deservedly maligned players in the NBA. He missed more games than he played, underwhelmed when he was healthy, and was right at the center of the blame pie for one of the most disappointing teams in the league. He went from the apex of a brilliant career, performing like a top 3 player alive in a title run, to a man who seemed already past his prime, undone by injuries, passivity, a complete loss of his perimeter shot, and at times, it seemed, an apathy towards the game. He spent a couple years at rock bottom, and the Lakers as a team hit a new low this season, starting with a 2-10 record. Then, AD started playing his best basketball ever. Since that moment, he's averaging 35 points and 16 rebounds per game on better than 72% true shooting and nearly 65% from the field, all while blocking nearly 3 shots per game as a Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner. Nobody else in NBA history has put up those numbers over a 9-game stretch, even taking the efficiency, which is insane, out of it. And the Lakers have gone 7-2 when he plays. After 2 abysmal seasons, AD is now averaging career highs in points and rebounds per game on easily the best efficiency of his career, and is restoring hope in a team that had become hopeless. Here's how he's done it. A lot of the frustration with AD's game over the last 2 years could be boiled down to a lack of aggression and a misunderstanding of his skill set. He settled too often for iffy perimeter looks and, for a time, insisted on playing the 4 even when he more intuitively fit at the 5, forcing LA to play plodding centers who clogged up the paint and muddied up the offense. This year, AD has erased those issues, as his performance has been predicated on dominance in the paint while he attempts a career-high 67% of his shots inside of 10 feet. Davis is thriving out of pick and roll, scoring at 84th percentile efficiency there after putting up subpar numbers for back-to-back years. He's, of course, a dynamic lob threat and a huge beneficiary of the dribble penetration consistently created by Russ and LeBron, both of whom look to him frequently as a roll man. Without another big man roaming around, AD's pretty much constantly available as a paint target outside of pick and roll too, and has done a great job of positioning himself effectively for close-range drop-offs from drivers and cashing in on those attempts. I gotta give a special shout out to Russ here, who's been particularly unselfish in drawing help and then looking to feed AD. Those two have really developed a great chemistry as Russ has shifted to a more pass-first mindset overall this season, and it's helped them both a ton. AD is also now always the man in the paint on cleanup duty, where his really high motor play has helped him rack up a career high in offensive boards and lead the league in second chance points. He's also feasting in the paint when he runs the floor, scoring with 94th percentile efficiency in transition. He is simply dominating in the restricted area in a way that he couldn't for the last 2 years. Now, it's undeniable that some of that success is enabled just by a shift in position. 2 years ago, AD played over 90% of his minutes at power forward. Last year, he flipped to playing a majority of his minutes at center, but this year, he's played 100% of his minutes at the 5. Certainly, it's easier for a big man to dominate around the rim when no one else is competing for that space or those touches. But AD has also clearly undergone a shift in mindset, because again, he mostly played at the 5 last year, and he did not produce like this. He's in complete attack mode in those spots, and he's excelling because of it. Even more notable than that dominance at the rim, though, which AD's long been capable of, is the expansion of his short-range shot making. 30% of AD's shot this year are coming from 3 to 10 feet, a major increase over the last 2 seasons and a career high. AD is quickly and decisively turning to push shots, floaters, and hooks when he has a window, either off a pass or creating for himself, and he's making 56% of his attempts from that range, a massive improvement from his career mark of under 45%. AD's excellence from that range is really valuable. It allows him to get a good look off almost whenever and create more quality shots from more spots on the floor. With that, AD is also attacking mismatches and one-on-one situations more this year, and he's looked really comfortable with his handle either getting completely downhill or to those short-range touch shots. So from anywhere inside the paint, AD is a force right now, and he's maximizing his presence there, leading the league in paint touches and averaging nearly twice as many as he did 2 years ago. After a couple of very frustrating seasons, AD has expanded on his skill set and is utilizing it perfectly. He's maximizing the good and minimizing the bad. Because the reality is that despite his reputation as something of a stretch big, AD has always struggled as a perimeter shooter with the exception of a red-hot run in the bubble. He's only a 30% three-point shooter over his career, but that number had plummeted over the last 2 seasons to a truly atrocious 22.9%, making each AD three-point attempt feel like a wasted possession. But luckily, as a full-time 5, he doesn't have to feel that same kind of pressure to be a perimeter-centric, floor-spacing player. So this year, he's focused on where he excels, the paint, and limited the other stuff, attempting the fewest mid-range shots per game of his career and his fewest threes since 2015, before he had added that shot to his game at all. At the same time, his efficiency from those spots has gone up. He's shooting 33% from deep, as good a mark as you could reasonably hope for from him, and 41.5% from mid-range after he was at just under 36% over the last 2 seasons. And over this absurdly hot 9-game streak, he's been 50% from mid-range. Absolutely lethal. Of course, AD will always need those tools in his bag. The need to create a turnaround out of the post or knock down a pick and pop jumper to keep defenses honest, but they're not his true strength and he should be using them selectively. And he is. That's made him much more efficient overall and from those specific spots on the floor, although I can't deny his shot itself just looks better. Even his free throw percentage is up 10 versus the last 2 years, and he's clearly playing with a kind of confidence he hasn't had in years. The bottom line on offense is this: historic production and efficiency for AD. You know how many times we've seen a player average 28 and 12 on 65% true shooting? Never. AD would be the first. Defensively, he's looked like peak AD again. Playing center allows him to maximize his value as a rim protector, as he's contesting 30% more shots than 2 years ago, and he remains probably the best defensive playmaker in the NBA. He's a 6'10 super athlete with a 7'6 wingspan, phenomenal hands, instincts, and timing as a shot blocker. He can guard anywhere on the floor at a high level, and he's holding players more than 5% below their typical field goal percentage when he's the primary defender, while averaging 1.4 steals and 2.4 blocks per game. He erases mistakes, flies around the floor, gobbles up boards, and is playing his ass off. And I think we've seen for plenty of years what he's capable of on that end when he's dialed in. This is the AD we've been waiting for to return. The unmatched two-way force, the dominant interior big with the splash of skill that makes him stand out. He's healthy, he's passionate, he's added to his bag, and he's playing smart. He's the Lakers' best player by a mile right now, and after all he's been through these last couple years, I'd hate to see it go to waste. The Lakers are defending well, LeBron is playing better, and Russ honestly looks the best he has in 2 years with the team so far, but they're still lacking the kind of shooting and quality wing play they need if they want to actually contend. And this AD is good enough to be the best player on a title team, and you have 38-year-old LeBron, and you've already put everything into this core, so why not trade 2 first-round picks to see what you can make happen? This Anthony Davis, the one we're seeing right now, is in a tier with KG and Duncan as the best 4-5 combos we've ever seen, and I think he's the best out of those 3 offensively. When the skill and the physicality and the aggression all come together, this dude is all-time special, and he is showing that very clearly right now. This Lakers team is improving, but still very flawed, but AD is playing as one of the most complete bigs ever. It's a joy to watch, and I wasn't sure that we would see it again. To those of you who have made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and if you want more content like this, we're going to be coming out with more soon, but you can also check us out across platforms. TikTok is where we do a ton of our work at NerdSesh. We do quicker analysis videos there and also lots of trivia stuff. You can also follow us on Instagram, same handle, and at Twitter, nerd_sesh. And we do a podcast covering the NBA and also doing trivia stuff, also named NerdSesh. To anybody coming back to this account who's wondering where we've been, I'm sorry that we just kind of disappeared for a bit. We had a bunch of success on TikTok and really focused our efforts on there. Now we're coming back to YouTube and hopefully going to be doing a bunch of both. I'm going to try to do a video every couple weeks. Logan's coming out with a video soon, so please stay tuned in here and follow us across all platforms. Like I said, as always, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed the video.